see, hopefully, okay. Hopefully folks can see this. I will try to keep an eye on the chat. Please chat with me, talk to me within the chat. But yeah, this is drawing dancing. And also just big thank you also to Sequential Artists Workshop for continuing these wonderful Friday night workshops where we all get to band together from all over and share a little bit of artwork, do a little bit of artwork together. So as far as me, I had the idea for this workshop. Obviously, I am a bit of a visual artist. I'm also, in the past, I considered myself a dancer and did a little bit of teaching of ballet. And a lot of the times I found that the language of dance, lines, and thinking about the flow of energy, performance, that these were all things that sort of translated into how I drew as well.
Work it.
And so I was thinking, you know, how do I reintegrate these? Because I will say that I am not a great dancer. I don't have great lines. I can't point my feet very well. And I transferred that sort of into drawing. Some other places that you may have seen me, I have done one of these workshops before, which was thinking through doodles. I believe that that is floating around on YouTube somewhere. So if, you know, you haven't had enough of me by the end of this workshop, then you can go tune in for another hour of doodling with me, which is basically what it's going to be tonight as well. I also have an upcoming comic that'll be coming out with The Believer in their final issue, which is their issue coming out in February. Please go support them, even though it's going to be the last issue. But the Black Mountain Institute is doing a lot of really great other work too. Oh, hi, Julia. They're doing a lot of really great other work, and there's wonderful people there. Yeah, I know it's the final issue, and it's wild, but yeah, that's happening. Support your indie comics and literary publications and organizations like SAW, because it's rough out there. Anyway, so that is something to stay tuned for. I have a couple other projects that are in the works coming out this year that I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about them yet, so I probably won't say anything. But you know, I'll plug my social media, and you can keep in tune for all of that as well. In a past life, I did a little bit of storyboarding. I storyboarded for a wonderful film called Sorry to Bother You. I still think it's worth watching. I've probably watched it 4 or 5 times. And as far as what I'm doing most of my time, I am writing a dissertation, and I'm going to move past the slide because this is not actually meant for people to read quite yet. But I'm working on an English PhD, but I'm writing about animated bodies, which maybe you sense a little bit of resonance with our topic for today. But most of my dissertation, it feels, you know, so working on comics, drawing, making visual art is very complementary to actually thinking about and writing about art. But I did a short little stop motion animation that I feel like communicates what it actually feels like to be working on a dissertation, which is a lot of just like idle flapping around. This was just a little paper cut animation I did with tracing paper and pen and a Microsoft Word background. But that's just a little bit of, yeah, what I am up to. Let's see, oops, look that. You can find more of my work by following me on my Instagram or my Twitter. And I've also plugged, you know, my cat there as extra temptation, because sometimes she honestly probably makes as the same amount of appearances on my social media as my actual art. But that is my cat Fleabag. And I'm doing my PhD at Penn in Philadelphia. I'm trying to keep track of both the chat and what's happening in front of me. So yes, back to the topic for today though, drawing, dancing. So like I said, I have a little bit of background in dance, and I have a foreground, a developing practice in art. And we are combining the two today. I wanted to talk a little bit about, just a couple tips before we dive into actually drawing together. But, maybe for those of you who have studied cartooning or animation in kind of a formal way, a lot of our kind of pedagogy of motion is lines of action, right? We want these like beautiful, smooth, fluid lines of action that kind of track through our characters. This is a screenshot from a cartooning classic, Preston Blair's cartoon animation. But as much as I love these beautiful, legible works, I'm also interested in ugly poses, right? And kind of imperfect, non-communicative, the weirdness that is actually moving and being in a body. On the other side of the spectrum, I was thinking about someone like Alison Bechtel and her practice of really getting into, and this is the story of, this is from Fun Home, but her practice of photographing herself in poses in order to produce the kind of reference material for Fun Home. And you get this like really, right, these really embodied poses, not exaggerated and not quite that kind of cartooning. And today I want to explore really kind of the meshing of these two, what it looks like to treat our own bodies as the reference material, to kind of be the poses, feel out the poses, feel the lines of action more so than see them, right? Feel the passing of energy, etc. And yeah, that's sort of my spiel. So, somewhere between lines of action and like figure drawing or whatever that is. So as far as the actual comic part, let's see. I was thinking that we're going to start out, you are welcome to turn your cameras off for this or to keep them on. I'm going to keep mine on, but we're going to start out with about 5 minutes of movement. You're welcome to stay in your chairs, get up out of your chairs. I think that this exercise can be done with something even like hands, right? Moving your hands and seeing, how you want to communicate, right? The flow, the lines that you're seeing, the forms that you're seeing. But I fully encourage you also to get up out of your seats and join me. I will, let's see, I'm gonna be taking notes. So I've listed a couple of my prompts out here and things to think about as you are going through both the drawing portion and the dancing portion. But a couple things to, structure the comics or drawings that you're making. What makes you want to dance? Draw it. When was the last time you danced? Draw that. Or draw out this 5-minute warm-up improv sequence that we're doing. Or if you don't want to do something that's, self-representational, what would it look like if you, if an inanimate object, body part or a pet dance, right? What would it look like for your hands to just do a little dance? So a lot of different options for thinking about it. And then as far as how we're drawing that, everything, I've listed a couple questions on the right. So are you drawing poses, or bodies in motion? What kinds of line quality do these different movements have? Are you going to do motion blur or bodily distortions? And do you want to use panels, right? So if it's okay, I'm going to play. I see someone who does not dance. That is okay. You can draw someone else dancing if you would like to. But I'm going to play 5 minutes of music. You are welcome to move however you want to, and to take some notes on your movement, right? Think about weight, right? The passing of weight or of just movement of how lines of action, even if that's how you want to think about it. Let's see. I mean, as far as warm-ups, improv, etc., really just moving, right? Moving in a safe way. That is all that warm-up means. It's not to push yourself too hard that you pull something. I really think I am of the same mindset of both drawing and dancing, which is that everyone can do it, and it's just a uniquely personal experience. But again, you are totally welcome to not move with me. Oops. Let's see. I might need to pause my sharing in order to wait. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment in order to play some music. It's a song that's just about 5 minutes long. Tune Yard's Business. This was something that I listened to a lot back at my old dance studio. So it's familiar stuff for me. And I will leave myself dancing on camera for your entertainment. But yeah, and then we'll get back together. I'll try to show you if I'm taking drawing notes, what that looks like too. But we're gonna get started with just 5 minutes of free movement, whatever you want. And jot down if you want to notes about your drawing. So, oops, hang on. I'm just gonna play it out of my computer, so I apologize if the sound quality is not the best. I think it's more fiddlesome to do it. I have returned. Hopefully. Reading through a little bit of the chat. I saw that apparently there was a cat appearance at some time, but that's very exciting. All right, though. So hopefully, that gets you thinking a little bit, right, about lines of action, about what it feels to move, what it feels like to, I'm a little bit out of breath. I don't know, just let loose, because that's what dancing is, right? So first off, this is just my set of kind of initial doodles. Lots of wonky fluid bodies, right? Yeah, sorry to hear that some people, the sound was a little bit off there, but lots of fluid bodies, maybe thinking even about some lines to indicate motion, stuff like that, right? But you're very much welcome to, explore this however you want to. So for the actual comics portion, I'm going to go back to my prompts, but we'll probably, let's see, we'll have 20 minutes at the end to share, so maybe we'll have about 20 minutes to draw together, a little bit more or a little bit less, something like that. I'm going to pull up my prompts again, though. So, right, drawing from us having just embodied ourselves a little bit in the dancing, maybe you want to approach one of the other prompts, or maybe you just want to draw this present moment, right? I already have a little bit of a reference sketch for what I'm going to be tackling. Oh, is it going to show both my, can you see me on camera right now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great. Yeah. So great. So I'll leave the prompts up then, and then I will also. So this was and then I'm just going to expand upon this. I'm going to draw it in a circle. You'll come to a panel comic, and so what is right drawing and actually feeling that's a work by it. That is sorry, I think.
Oh, there we are.
Yes, yep. I am back. I think my internet momentarily froze.
I think it reset or something. There you go.
Okay, but yes. So again, I'm basically just going to be finishing off this little conic here. That's going to be about, the look of drawing dancing versus how it feels. But yeah, let's get into some drawing, and I'll keep an eye on the chat. Talk to me while we're drawing, etc.
Hey, JS, it wouldn't hurt to repeat some of those prompts, because that's when you were the most choppy and about to zap out of the universe.
Gotcha. So yes, the prompts are: what makes you want to dance? Draw that. When was the last time you danced? Or draw out your warm-up / improv sequence. And what would it look like if an inanimate object, body part, or a pet dance? Oh, thank you so much for jotting that down. Yeah, drawing out an inanimate object, body part, or a pet dancing. So if you don't want to draw yourselves. Yay, awesome. And I will, if you're doing like a 4-panel comic, you probably want to spend like around a little bit less than 5 minutes per panel. I'm going to be sort of working kind of chaotically, so. My Zoom is like cutting out every once in a while. I am so sorry. It's a struggle.
We're good. You're back.
Okay. So even as I'm this is my panel, I'm going to try to talk and draw, which I know some of you probably relate to it being quite a bit of a struggle. But my current panel just says drawing dancing is a funny thing because it looks like this. I'm going to draw myself hunched over my desk, still thinking a lot about, right, embodied, what it feels like, you know, to be a body in motion or a body not in motion, as it sometimes feels like when I am drawing. All sorts of wonky, fun perspective happening on my drawing table. I'm going to get back into looking at some of my sketches. Oh, okay. Let me see. I might be able to move this around. I will be rotating this. Well, actually, I'm going to rotate it right now. So this is what it looks. Okay, let's see. This is what it looks like right now. But I'm going to be. The plan is to draw around in a circle. So it just says drawing dancing is a funny thing because it looks like this, but feels like. And I'm going to go into a little bit of my warm-up exercises and kind of reference that, thinking about how it felt to do the movement. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how other people approach this prompt when we get to sharing in a couple minutes. Going to try to get some, what in animation, I guess, are called multiples, where we get a body in motion, right? Kind of those ghostly action shots. Yes, I can get in some clothing too. I haven't seen the old Pfeiffer cartoons. Clearly I should do that though. Maybe I want to get into a little bit of a transition from here. Sweet. I always love getting some good recommendations. The prompt is, it's been posted. Yeah, so we did a little bit of a warm-up dance exercise, but you can either draw the last time that you danced, what makes you want to dance, or if you would like to, what it would look like if an inanimate object, a pet, or a body part looked like to if it could dance. So I'm kind of thinking about this a little bit in like a circular formation of moving through these various poses, a little bit like a zoetrope or something. And, you know, I'm sure some of this owes to the fact that I am just thinking about animation all the time, as much as I'm thinking about comics. That is a wonky leg, but we're going with it.
JS, I'm amazed that you're an animator and storyboard artist and PhD candidate. You don't
I
usually.
know. It is, you know, it's a wild time of balancing priorities. I'm not sure how successfully I am managing all three or, you know, however many that was of those things, but you know, it happens, I guess. And for me, a lot of it's complementary. Like I always say that I don't know, I couldn't do the work that I'm doing. I couldn't write all day if I didn't also, you know, take time to doodle and explore all of that. Let's see. Oh, people are chasing me down in the chat.
Funny. Michelle is a sleuth.
Getting in some of those classic Fleischer noodle arms, really animated shenanigans. Ooh, my cat has come to join. I'm gonna see if she wants to say hi. Okay. Let's take like around 5 more minutes. And this is as much a warning for myself as to everyone else, but like 5 more minutes to finish up your drawings. Get in some nice motion lines here. The reverse psychology is strong. Maybe I secretly wanted you to go find my work. I'm gonna work quickly now to try to get through this.
I really want to do a Google search on animator doctor pairings now. Like, yeah. Animators with doctorates. So amazing. These drawings are so lovely and they're so animated, you know.
I'm someone who can't clean up drawings. I kind of only ever sketch. So I know I could be like it's why I enjoyed storyboarding so much, because, you know, I was able to keep it rough and energetic, but I could never really be an illustrator because I can't sit still long enough to actually finish a drawing.
We have an animator or a storyboard artist for Adventure Time on our staff at SAW, and his name's Derek. And I'm always surprised at how finished his storyboards have to be. They have to be very, very finished, but maybe that's not true in the movies. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's much more the case for TV animation because storyboards go so quickly into you know, animators like more or less reproducing the shots. And then with live action, it's really just about, you know, getting a little bit of that initial feel of the movie, getting it down for like editing and stuff like that.
Did you have to study a lot of cinematic visual language, shots and angles and things like that?
Yeah, so like how it worked for the gig I storyboarded on and like something I'm currently working on is normally I just get something like a shot list where it's like close up on X person's face, they're talking to this person in this environment, and I'll have like a couple of reference photos of the environment, stuff like that. So it's mostly just like translating words into visuals, right, very quickly. All right, I have just about completed this very quick little comic. Hopefully people are finishing up their own, but if you want to start raising your hands, I think we are about ready to share. I'll share mine with y'all in a second.
Indeed, feel free to raise your Zoom hand and we'll do this the way we always do. But if you're new, I'll explain it in that raising your Zoom hand helps us see you, and we'll just sort of go down the list so long as JS is willing, and we'll pop you on the screen for everybody and ask you to unmute and you can show us what you did. We also all want to see JS's mandala that she made.
All right.
Yeah, Libby says it looks like an LP.
Oh yeah, a little bit. We start at the center, and I'm gonna read it for the third time, but drawing dancing is a funny thing. Oh God. Okay, let me see.
Pull back a hair. There we go. That's good.
Drawing dancing is a funny thing because it looks like this, crouched over a desk. It feels like this chaotic swirl, and I think I've almost gotten it. So a lot of this is drawn from the poses that I was sort of exploring while we were doing our little bit of movement. But I think I've gotten like a little bit of a loop, just maybe if we imagine a little bit. Actually, I might be spinning it the wrong way, but you know, the great thing about a loop is you can reverse it.
Love that low pose there, right at the top now. Funny.
So yeah, that is my exercise in drawing dancing. And I'll be posting this to my Instagram/Twitter, and you're all also welcome to do that with the Friday Night Comics hashtag, right? Is it hashtag Friday Night Comics?
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, let's get into seeing other people's work though, and then if we don't get to you, please do share.
Okay, so cool. We'll go with Allison and then Erla and then Michelle and then Monica and then Dave. I'll put that in the chat too, but right now I will spotlight Allison. There we go. Oh, I think so. Oh, hang on. What happened? Oh, you know what? Allison just flipped out. And when somebody's video is off, you can't spotlight them. There we go. Oh,
yeah. Okay. Do you hear me?
Oh.
You can see this. So this was what I was doing when we were first dancing to the music that you shared with us, JS. And then what I did was think about what music really gets me going, and it has to have a strong beat and a catchy tune. And immediately I was thinking about Johnny Clegg and Savuka and how that took me back to where music began and where our where dance began, you know, in Africa, and it really evoked this whole sense of this element to music and to dancing, and how that is part of our liberation experience. Anyway, thank you. This was a great experience, great fun.
Thanks so much for sharing. I love the third panel, the energy that you got into the arms. And yeah, I don't know. I agree that dancing is a liberating experience, or it should be, right? I fully approve. I'm such a big fan of just dancing alone in my room, which is normally what I do, and not in front of an audience. But thank you so much for sharing, Allison.
Thank you.
Great. We'll go to Erla next. Let's see. There we go. You might be muted, Erla. Oh, no, you're good. Okay, you're good. Yep.
Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in the middle of a snowstorm today, and so the snow makes me want to move. Like a dancer, I have to warm up with layers. I stepped into the field before me, and I danced with the other flakes.
Oh, I love that. Maybe move the notebook back like 2 inches.
Sorry.
Perfect. Yes, no, I think we could read the writing, but oh, I love this so much. I think that's such a tight little narrative within 4 panels. And I love the idea. I love the punning on warming up, right? On warming up as wearing a bunch of clothing versus warming up as what we're doing with dance. But it's so cute. I love it.
Thank you. The weather inspired me, and so did you.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, I did my own kind of, I didn't quite dance through the snow, but I did frolic a little bit in my boots this morning. So
Okay, we'll go I have to look at my own list here. Also, I'm seeing that some people are watching through Eventbrite and there's not a place for reactions there. So feel free to raise your hand, quote, in the chat, and I'll get to you. I'll put you in the line. But I think next, do we have Michelle next? I guess so. Michelle, hi.
Hi. So here are my doodles. I was trying to figure out how to draw someone who's not actually moving very much, but just kind of moving side to side, because that's how I dance. So like a palm tree. And here's my comic about that.
oh my
Problem
goodness.
with being a big person with big heavy shoes is that you feel like a bull in the china shop of the dance floor. Instead, I keep my feet planted in place. My friend David and I call this dance the earthworm.
Oh my gosh, this is so many things. This is so wonderful. I thought that the initial sketches were your final thing, by the way. I was like, wow, okay, this is like very cool, very interpretive. We got all of these inanimate objects dancing, but I love how you've combined them. And I think that using like these images, like these really strong visual metaphors, the heavy shoes, the earthworm. I'm obsessed with the earthworm. I love it. I like, it's such a move, right? Just like the kind of dancing in place, planted in place.
It's my favorite.
I dig it so much. The colors, so bomb. Love that.
Thanks for the exercise. I want to read your dissertation.
Great. We'll move on to Monica. Thanks, Michelle.
Oh gosh, thanks guys. So unfinished, really unfinished. I pulled out a scroll of tracing paper and just, first of all, just started kind of with movements, how the feel of it all was. The top line is JS's arm movements and her head at different points. And then, yeah, just kind of more into the feel of things. Sorry guys, and then this was kind of just a little movement thingy with my flourish, my Snoopy flourish at the end, the Snoopy dance. But yeah, I think more kind of connecting with the feeling. Thanks a lot. I used to draw, do figure drawing on scrolls, and it just got me back to that. And I was wondering where the heck my pastels were, because I really wanted to splotch some color in there, but it was awesome. Thank you so much.
This is brilliant. I love the interpretation of the abstraction of the bodies at the beginning, and then moving into kind of it translates really well how you saw kind of the movement lines into then the final drawings that you have. I love the arcs. I love the swoopy. Is that charcoal that you drew with?
Yeah, it was. I landed some charcoal when I couldn't find the pastel, and it's fun just varying. I think that invitation was about the line. How does the line kind of represent a move? And sometimes like it just needs a thick line, not just so yeah. And it's fun to be messy too.
I totally agree. I mean, I think that one of the prompts, or like one of the things I was thinking about when I was thinking about this workshop was you could also do something that was fully just about, tracing the line of dancing, right? What it looks like to follow a single arm and the way that it's moving. And you've done a little bit of that. So this was wonderful.
Thanks.
And I
Oh my
also
God,
love tracing
thanks so much, guys. Yeah,
I think
know.
tracing is the best.
Jeez. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you. We'll go to Dave.
Hi.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Great. So when I was doing the drawings, sort of there's a bit where where you hit the dance floor, you're trying to get the beat, you're trying to work out when do I start dancing? Is it, do I dance on beat 1 or beat 4? And then I start dancing, and eventually I trip up over the notes. So
I love this. Oh my goodness. I am so impressed by how clean that you've got these forms down. They're clean and they're so evocative, like the simple shapes, the falling at the end, you really feel the weight of it, right? Oh, this is just like such a great encapsulation of, a short little comic that's so, I feel it, I feel it.
So I was drawing it, and then at the end I thought, wow, we've got all these graphic elements, these notes in the page. Wouldn't it be great if I just caught my foot on the note? So that's what I've done, and I've got some notes on the floor because it's all gone wrong.
Yeah, the more that I look at it, the more details, right? The catching of the foot, and then I see that the note like hanging on to the leg right there. There's just so many great details. I'm like, how did you get this so tiny so quickly?
Thank you. Okay.
Thanks so much for sharing.
Thanks, Dave. So we'll go to Eve,
Cheers.
not Joy, and replace. There we go.
All right, so this is what I did first. It's just a bunch of doodles. This is what makes me want to, dance. It's like, that's me singing some Loretta Lynn karaoke, Fist City. Then I've got some dance squiggles, just the movement. This is what it would be like if my dinner cart would dance, and then just some dancing. And then I did an actual like little comic to go around with it. Oh, is it like backwards script?
No, you're we can see it straight.
Oh, okay. I'm new to this technology. So yeah, good music, karaoke, my other favorite song to do, Punk Rock Girl by Dead Milkman. Me dancing, which is usually me being cranky and not dancing. And then my cat Taz, who has a little stumpy tail, and how he would dance.
Oh my
wobble,
goodness.
Zing, 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 because his tail goes back and forth like a dog. So
That you're a cat. I love how you really got every single part of the prompt in here. Again, I am really impressed by how quickly everyone is speaking on their toes, quite literally. And yeah, I don't know, the types of quality of movement that you've got here with like your little cat, just like the tiny little, it's doing a little bit of an earthworm, right?
yeah, pretty much.
Comic. Oh, this is great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. We'll go to Mari. I just want to remind everybody, you can share also on social media, hashtag Friday Night Comics. And here we go.
Hi. Okay, so I was just kind of more or less drawing on the same page the whole time. I have a bunch of little water soluble crayons, and I've kind of just been dipping them in water, and then so some are bigger, some are smaller, and just kind of playing around with like shapes and like maybe an idea of like a passage of time, or like, yeah.
Wow, yeah, this is so cool. I love the way that you've thought about how these bodies like fit in one another. And I love the moment kind of in the lower, I don't know if it's the right or the left because I don't know if it's flipped or not, but where the like teal body is fitting into the red body in the arms. Yeah, it's so cool. I feel like it's such a different
Don't eat her ears.
way
Leave
of
it.
approaching
Leave
dancing
it.
too, right? Like dancing is really just about
Leave it. Leave it.
bodies fitting together, right?
Nope.
And
Nope.
it's not necessarily about movement. It can be just about the poses. And I think you've captured that so wonderfully here. Like these are such evocative, wonky, wonderful bodies. Thank you so much for sharing.
Cool. Yeah, those are really, really beautiful.
Thank you. And then Mort here, you didn't want to show yours? No? Okay.
Totally fair.
Okay, I think we have Helen next. Hi, Helen. Nice to see you. Here we go. Oops, you're muted. Sorry about that. You might have to take a moment to unmute. Still muted. No, you're still muted. I don't think I can. I might be able to do it for you, but I can ask to unmute, but I can't. No.
Now?
Yep.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. I started off really stiff. Here. So it's like, I don't know. And then I took a deep breath and just in whole body got into it. And then I don't know where this is. So then
Oh my goodness.
arms into it. And then I don't know how this works, but I think you get the picture.
Yeah, I think we've gotten to see snapshots of all of it. I love this. Like Susan said, the gestures are just so wonderful. Like you can see the kind of the texture of the pen too, right? With the speed of your strokes. Like you're really just capturing this wonderful transformation, like a full body transformation here. I love, yeah, how these different stages of the body from like the kind of tightness, the opening up to all of that wonderful wonky movement. It's really, really wonderful. And a testament
Yeah.
to simplicity too.
And you know, your sound is scratchy, and I felt like I was in a disco with the scratch. It was just perfect. It made me just let go of any judgment about sound quality and just get into the vibe. So much fun. So that's all.
Again, I am amazed by the way that
It's
people
really
are
cool.
able. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm amazed by the way that you've been able to flip technical difficulties into artwork.
Your
Again,
gestures really remind
Yeah,
me
it was
of
cool.
like how Japanese writing or Chinese writing developed, where it came from an object or thing or thought and then translated into a letter.
Yeah, there's like a wonderful kind of abstraction happening there. Just really, really evocative bodies, which is what we're going for. It's a vibe, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Cool.
much
It was
for
a
We're
vibe.
gonna go to Jonathan, Team Jonathan right now. Here we go.
Hello, so I've actually got the next generation here. This is Elizabeth and Victoria. Tori, you want to show yours? You don't want to show it?
No, she has
Okay, Elizabeth, you want to show yours?
Yeah, I like to have a lot of detail on mine. I like to perfect.
Camera's
them.
right.
Wow. Do you want to talk us through some of these drawings? I mean, they speak for themselves, first of all. I love the ribbon dancing one. Or is that a kite?
Well, it's like a pen, and how I feel like when I'm drawing, it just kind of feels like I can paint or like draw anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I totally vibe with that. That was sort of what I was trying to capture, but I think you did it better than me. But when I was trying to capture, right, that drawing, we're sitting at our desks. It looks really boring, but there's all of this kind of liberation of our bodies to bring back a little bit of energy that we were talking about earlier. But yeah, it's so cool. Truly, y'all are the avant-garde out here.
And we've got Victoria's work.
Wow. Do you want to talk us through a little bit of what you drew, Victoria? Again, it speaks for itself. I love the way that you've isolated body parts, that they're moving kind of by themselves. And I love the sparkles.
I just like love to do kicks, and like when I dance, I just love to move my feet and my arms, and it's just like I love to feel that way.
Yes, I love that about dancing too. I love, we have a dancer and we have 2 dancers and 2 artists here. What a dynamic duo. Oh wow, and there's more.
That's her
goodness.
other work.
These are so great. Wow.
I love doing flips.
I can't do a flip, so I'm very impressed. And look at all of those motion lines on the flip. You've really captured just kind of floating through the air there.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much.
Awesome, thanks. And now we're gonna go to ND, who said they don't dance. So I guess maybe we'll find out what happened.
Yeah, it is what it is. I don't know if anybody knows Mr. Bungle. It's a band in the 80s, 90s that did a lot of very controversial music and ideas, but they're great musicians. And Love as a Fist is one where there's Mr. Bungle is going through a cafeteria messing things up. It's a puppet show. This is an idea because I was thinking about dancing, and a lot of things I watch are action adventure movies where the dancing is really violent, fists, stuff like that. So Love as a Fist came to mind, and I listened to the song, reviewed the lyrics, and this is what came out of it. So
this is
every kind of
super
dancing.
cool. Very much a kind of a fun interpretation of dancing, what it is. I agree, you know, fight choreography. I mean, as a storyboard artist, choreography within films, fight choreography, camera choreography, all of that is a kind of dancing, right? And I also had a student recently write a paper about kung fu movies as nonsense play. But yeah, so I mean, I love the puppet motif. It's also an interesting way. I mean, it sounds like you know, if you were reluctant to dance, the only way to get you there would be to attach some puppet strings to you. So
that's good.
But really, really cool. Again, all of these interpretations have been so cool.
Well, we'll go to Janice next. There we go.
Hi.
Hello.
Just did my warm-ups, just some little doodles here.
Oh my gosh, those are so good. I'm obsessed. I love the one in the middle where you have the double legs going on too. These
And
are just so evocative.
And then I did the prompts, you know, that I liked. I think the last time I was out dancing was during the disco era, for crying out loud. And then I did the inanimate object, which is the hands.
This is so good. I think that the hand movements are fantastic. They're like creepy wonderful, right? They're and I don't know, I'm so amazed by the way that you've captured the energy there. They really are dancing hands. Love the little hand booty at the end too.
That one.
Yep. So
thank you.
great.
This is wonderful.
These are all so wonderful. These are giving me life. This workshop makes me want to dance more.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Okay, we'll go to Allison next. There we go.
Hello.
Hi. Drawing movement is kind of a weak point for me, but I tried my best. I didn't get to color anything in, but here we go. So I just tried to take sort of sketches that I was doing during our improv warm-up period and just flesh them out a little. So these are all sort of me dancing to the tune yard. I think that's what you called it, music that you were playing. And just like trying to capture some of the motions that I do. I always seem to default to some weird version of the Carlton when I dance. So there it is. And then I tried to do some more specific. Well, I actually have 2 mirrors in here. So I did 4 shots of me just sort of moving around in my full length mirror, and then 3 where I was just sort of like dancing around in my seat and just trying to see what I could do with my shoulders and head and arms. So yeah, this is my work.
This is such a cool exploration. I love the fact that you utilize the mirror, and it works as a little bit of a frame too, right? You get
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it feels almost a little bit like a storyboard or like the beginning of an animation. And going back to the puppet theme too, I love sketches because you really see the way that people are thinking through forms, right? And obviously you're kind of working through both anatomy and these lines, and seeing it all on the page is actually super cool. And movement should not be a weak point for you. I think that those are really evocative drawings. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
I'm muted. We're going to go to Maria next. There you go, Maria.
Hi, everyone. Okay. I did mine rather big because when I draw people, I like to make them big. So first, put on how to dance. First, put on music, then get your arms moving. Now put your back into it. Now the hips, work them.
Yes.
And last but not least, get loose.
I love it. I love the way that we see it evolve over the pages. This needs to be the instruction manuals for dancing. The final one, get loose. We get all those beautiful loose lines.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was
Clearly,
very hard.
They're wonderful. And clearly I need to use your little instructional for my next workshop.
Cool. We're going to go to Melissa next, who's got a cat in her lap. There we go.
Hello. Oh, I'm big. Sorry. My little kitten is very excited. I mostly work on my iPad just because I make a lot of mistakes and I obsess over them, but less so. So this is kind of based off of a time with my mom. Someone mentioned the Snoopy dance. That was my mom's favorite dance growing up, and she would do it behind the wheel, but she would always get really, really, really embarrassed whenever like someone would honk next to her, so she'd only do it in the garage. So this is kind of like, what if mom, got caught in the middle of a stoplight doing the dance and somebody honked on her because she was so obsessed with it.
I love it. I love the choices that you've made with the colors and how you've illustrated lines of movement and like both the gestures here and then also these kind of evocative motion lines. They're working so well together. This is so wonderful. And I fully support, I love a good Control Z. I wish I had it for my paper, but yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. It's wonderful.
Thank you guys. This is great.
Awesome. Thanks. JS, are you okay? We're 5 minutes over. A couple more minutes.
I am good. I'm happy to get through our last couple of folks.
Wonderful. Thank you. So I think we're going to D now.
Hi, sorry. Yeah, so I think I took the prompt a little bit too literally, and I don't know if you can see it, but I did a little 4-panel thing that's going to be reversed, unfortunately. But I do like to dance, so I tried to represent what dance music might sound like in the first one. I don't know if you can really see it with my crappy webcam.
Yes.
And that's me reacting to it, and then there's a bunch of silly little like dancing things. And I realized it's kind of hard to draw motion.
I mean, you did it wonderfully. I love the interpretation of the music, the use of color. Wow, again, I'm just really impressed by how clean everyone got things because my sketches are messy. But I love the kind of progression of all of the different poses that you did. And yeah, I don't know. I love the musical interpretation too. Super cool.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really hard to draw music. I was trying to do sound waves.
I felt it though. That is, and it gets the noisiness with all of the beautiful overlapping lines.
Thank you.
Cool. JS, can you shout out your Instagram handle again while we switch over to Michael, I think might be next. Maybe put it in the chat. Just doubling check. Yep, Michael's next. Here we go.
Yes. I'm not a dancer, but I love watching Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly. So I was going to make it a 4-panel comic, but I found that I couldn't fit their figures into the panels. So this is what I did, and I turned the panels into something that suggests the dance floor. And on the right, I just wrote "Dreaming of Fred and Jean."
I love that. And I love a good meta comic between tripping over music notes to breaking out of the frame, turning frames into the dance floor, turning them into the foundations where bodies are getting lively. It's wonderful. And they also pop out of the screen, right? I think that you really captured their movement and the way that they kind of, even if you're not a dancer, right, that you feel the dancing so much. This is wonderful, a beautiful homage. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to, actually nobody's got their hand up anymore. We're looking for Falky, we're looking for Amy. So let me see if I can find either one. And again, while I do that, sorry, I'll post something in the chat about Amy. If you will, oops, I lost you. There you are. I should be able to spotlight you now. There we go.
Hi. So as we started this, the cat jumped on the table. So I decided to draw my cats. Oops, my iPad just turned off. I decided to draw my cats dancing, and I was just envisioning all different types of music that they might like. Oh, here we go. Can you see that?
Oh my goodness. These are so great. Oh, I love how graphic your lines are too.
Well, it's funny because I usually use like a much thinner pencil or marker, and I find I get too tight, so I chose a much thicker one. So it forced me to loosen up a lot, and I had a lot of fun with this.
They're wonderful. Oh my goodness. And you know, I have a working theory. Cats, they're so flexible that they must secretly be good dancers, right? Like, you know, when we're not looking at them or whatever, but I think you really captured it.
Thank you.
Okay, JS, I'm going to re-spotlight you so we can close out. In the chat window, everyone, I put some more information about what we do at SAW, about next week's workshop. In fact, if Teresa is still on, I know she was on for a minute or two. No, I don't think she is. Sorry, Teresa was on. She's going to be hosting next week. Something about drawing clothes. And I wasn't sure what drawing dancing was going to be, but it was super wonderful. So I imagine drawing clothes will be super wonderful too. JS, this has been fantastic. We usually close out
being back with Friday night workshops. So thank you so much for having me and for all the wonderful art. I really want to see what everyone else did too. So please do like post on social media and let me share it.
Yeah, and everyone, like, you know, unmute for a moment, clap your hands and thank JS, and then we'll all say goodbye.
Thank you, JS.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Work on your dissertation.
Thank you so much. I need it. I need all the love.
It was so good to see everybody. Happy New Year.
Yeah, thanks everybody for being here. This is really special. Thank you.
Go, girl.
JS, thank you so much. Stay warm. Crank that heat up a little bit more. You're
I
allowed.
will try to. And
See you
looking
next
forward to all
week.
of the other wonderful workshops of 2022 and hope to see you all there.
All right. All right, we're going to sign off.
Good
Thanks,
night,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Right.